All right, what? Let's start. So today we are going to start with another unit, which is your attitude and attitude formation, values and belief system. We're quickly going to see some of the conceptual, you can say, slides in the PPT today first, and then we're going to see some of the theories related to it. So when I talk about attitude, some of us, have a really wrong misconception. I mean, misconception, or you can say a wrong definition or idea about attitude. Usually when we say attitude, so कुछ लोगों को ये definition लगता है that it's about ego, it's about showing some kind of ego, or it is showing some kind of, let's just say, showing off or so and so forth. Right, so attitude is not that. Attitude is simply having an opinion about something. It can be any XYZ thing. It is simply that you have some kind of opinion related to that thing, and is an attitude. Attitude can be positive, it can be negative, it can be neutral, right? So this is what, when I say, let's just say, what is your attitude towards the political system in the country, what is the attitude towards rape culture in the country, what is your attitude towards democracy. So you would be having some opinions around it, right? So that is attitude. So please don't get, or don't loosely use these terms ki attitude dikha raha hai and all of that, he's showing so much attitude, and so forth. It's not like that. Okay, so attitude, first of all, is a hypothetical construct. Hypothetical means it is a construct that we have created, and it is something that is not really there. It is something which is abstract in nature. It is not something which you will be able to concretely notice, or it's something which is tangible. It is not something which is directly observable, right? And it can be very, very complex also, right? So first of all, attitude is a hypothetical construct. Secondly, it cannot be directly observed, so something which is not tangible, right? Attitude objects are concrete, abstract, about people, groups of people, inanimate objects. So you can literally have attitude about anything, right? It can be about anything which is a concrete thing, anything which is abstract, anything, any kind of philosophy, any kind of group, community, people, inanimate objects also. So it's like basically having all the things together, right? Now behavior towards object is dependent upon the attitude towards it. So whatever our behavior is, whatever your thought process is, or your whatever xyz action that you're going to take, somewhere or the other, the attitude plays a very, very important role, because somewhere it is, you can say, causing you do that behavior. It is influencing your decision making, it is influencing your behavior or your thought process. So as you can understand why attitude is a very, very important concept, and why they must have given this in the syllabus, right? So attitude tends to persist unless there's something which is done to change it. So attitude changing, or attitude, you can say, modification, is not something which is very, very easy, right? So throughout, let's just say, we kind of want people, or let's just say older generation, to change immediately, change their attitude towards love marriages, change their attitude towards same gender marriages, or LGBT group, or so and so forth. But it is not very easy, because it's something that they have ingrained in them, and it is not very, very easy to like overnight change the attitudes, right? It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of efforts, it takes a lot of willingness also. And there, whenever, let's just say, until and unless there's something which is very prominent, something which is very life changing that happens, then and then only we basically change our attitudes. So let's just say, if a person is talking about the fact that boys are supposed to be better, and so on and so forth, so it's the kind of attitude that he really believes into, and it is not something that we can change overnight. Okay, so attitude is something which is persistent in nature, and attitudes can fall anywhere along the continuum from very favorable to unfavorable. So an attitude can be something that is a good thing. I mean, your thought process can be good about something, it can be really unfavorable also. Something like dowry. So let's just say there's this person X who is completely not okay with having dowry, and look, he's very aversive about this whole concept. And then there can be some person who is completely okay with it, in fact he promotes this, right? So attitude can be both favorable and unfavorable. Okay. Now, attitudes are directed towards some objects about which a person has feeling, affect, or belief. So you can have attitude towards things which has emotional connect to it also, which have an affective. Affective basically means it is not the effect that we're talking about. Affective in psychology has to do with emotions, any kind of feelings, and so on and so forth. ठीक है. So ABC of the attitude is very very important, right? Now coming on to some other conceptual, how it is really impacting your thought process, how motives, your judgment, your belief system playing a very very important role in your behavior. So see this behavior and your rest of the thing as a tip of an iceberg. ठीक है. So as you can see, your behavior is something which is visible, something which I can see, something which everybody is able to see. So this is your behavior. So let's just say you are preparing for civil services, you go for running, you do any xyz behavior. Let's just say you're criticizing somebody, कोई argument हुआ, आपने कुछ ऐसा बोला, right? Any xyz behavior that you are having, now it can be which is known to others and it is known to you also, right? But then there is something unconscious, you could say, somewhere or the other beneath the sea level or beneath this line, this tip, there is a huge humongous, you can say, reservoir of values, standards, judgment, motives, ethics, belief system, cultural aspects, जो भी हमें बचपन से या कोई भी XYZ phenomena जो हम, I mean, experience that we had, any kind of XYZ teaching that we had. So it is basically building up all of these things, somewhere or the other is building up our attitude towards something. ठीक है. And then finally it is impacting our behavior. ठीक है. So let's just say uh, I say something very rude in an argument to some person, XYZ person. Now it has to do some with all of these things. Now I may not be able to understand why I said it. I might be knowing कि ये बड़ा खराब बोल दिया मैंने. But when I did that behavior, when I said it, it can be because of that attitude, because of that thought process, because of those experiences or the childhood, you can say, experiences or learning that I had, or the values that I had, or something which I believed in. ठीक है. So this is somewhere or the other, which of course it's not something very easily observable, not something which is known to others. ठीक है. Sometimes even I am not very sure of कि क्या था क्या नहीं था. ठीक है. And it's so much complex, right? It is not something कि एक there is a compartment of motive, there is a compartment of values, and there is a compartment of belief system, and we are just segregating everything, और हमें पता है कि इस वाले compartment से ये आया था, इस वाले compartment से ये आया था. So it doesn't work like that, right? It's a mixture of all of those things, and it is somewhere or the other impacting your behavior. So let's just say if you're motivated to do IS, right? If you're preparing for this examination, you must be having a positive attitude towards it, and there would be some values, some standards. Maybe there would be a lot of judgment also कि अगर ये नहीं किया तो क्या होगा, or maybe right from the beginning we have this mindset कि your parents wanted to do it, and there's a lot of respect, there's a lot of you can say proud, your parents would be so much proud of you, you would be so happy with your life, so on and so forth. So ye sara aapka, it is impacting your behavior, whatever you're doing, right? So this is how attitude is basically impacting your behavior, even your thought process also, your thought process, your feelings, all of that plays a very very important role. And that's how we are going to come on to this particular concept or theory, you can say, in your NCRT. I mean, in your questions, when it will be asked, it will be like that, what is the ABC component of attitude, or what is the component theory, 3 component theories of attitude. ठीक है. ABC theory इसे बोलते हैं. What is this thing basically? As you can see, evaluative statements or judgment concerning objects, people, or events. This is the definition of attitude, right? Now it can be because of three things. So attitude will always have 3 components to it. ABC, easy to remember. So affective, behavioral, and cognitive. ठीक है. What is this affective one? Affective, I just told you, it is to do something with emotional aspect or the feeling segment of the attitude. ठीक है. कभी कभी कुछ हमें ऐसी इमोशनल अटैचमेंट होती है, या कोई हमारा थॉट प्रोसेस होता है, कुछ सेंटिमेंट्स अटैच होते हैं. सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द प्रोसेस. See, when we talk about advertisements, which we will later on marketing में और अभी advertisement वाले topic में, you will see, some ads, they are trying to change your attitude, or they are trying to build your attitude with a feeling component. They're trying to make a feeling. Let's just say they made a sentimental, emotional kind of advertisement, which is really close to your heart, a concept which is very close to your heart. For example, जैसे अभी बीच में Maggie was banned because it was not trustworthy anymore, it was substandard, so on and so forth. So later on they came up with the idea of having mother concept related to affect, attitude, I mean, sorry, Maggie, right? That माँ को सब पता है. If you remember the tagline that was used, that माँ कभी भी कुछ गलत नहीं खिलाएगी, and so on and so forth. So using this concept of motherhood, which is very very emotional, it has a lot of, you can say, affective component to it. So they're trying to use this affective feeling or this affective component to change your attitude towards a product. And not just for anything, बहुत सारे ऐसे brands हैं, बहुत सारी ऐसी advertisements हैं, I'm pretty sure, where you emotionally get connected to it, right? So this is the affective part of the attitude. Second is the, you can say, the cognitive part. Okay, cognitive part is the thought process. जो आपका ओपिनियन है, जो आपका, यू कैन से, फैक्चुअल इंफॉर्मेशन है या फैक्चुअल जो थॉट है, राइट? सो व्हाट यू थिंक अबाउट इट, व्हाट यू बिलीव अबाउट इट, व्हाट इज द बिलीफ सिस्टम दैट यू हैव अबाउट इट. सो ये अगेन आपके साइकोलॉजिकल थॉट प्रोसेस जो हैं आपके, रिलेटेड टू दैट पर्टिकुलर ऑब्जेक्ट, रिलेटेड टू दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग. सो दैट इज दैट. एंड देन फाइनली द बिहेवियरल एस्पेक्ट, द इंटेंशन टू बिहेव इन अ सर्टन वे टूवर्ड्स समथिंग और समवन. ठीक है, तो फाइनली आप क्या करते हो विद दैट थिंग? इफ यू हैविंग अ गुड, यू कैन से, लेट्स जस्ट से यू हैव अ पॉजिटिव बिलीफ सिस्टम, पॉजिटिव कॉग्निटिव थॉट, and you have a good emotion connect with that thing, so probably my step would be to go towards that thing, or to talk to that person, or to do something nice to that person, xyz. It can be totally opposite also. Let's just say I have a negative feeling towards it. I have a very, let's just say I feel angry, I feel sad about it, and my thought process is कि ये बहुत बेकार चीज़ है, I don't like it is something immoral, something which is not right. And then the my behavior component would be, I would discard that thing and I would not support that thing, so and so forth. So this is how, three components of attitude which is there. So the B, or the behavioral components, is something which will make you do it, right? उस attitude को जब आप act on करते हो, that is that. So this is just an elaboration. This particular unit is not that difficult. Now there's another theory which was given. So today we're mostly going to see some of the theories of attitude, how attitude formation, what are the functions of it. One of the theory is by Festinger, which is cognitive dissonance. Direct question आ जाता है, what is cognitive dissonance, what is Festinger's theory? Why I'm telling you the names? Because it is very very important that you remember the names. At times they directly say Festinger की theory क्या है, ठीक है, या कभी कभी बोल देंगे कि एटीट्यूड, सॉरी, कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस बोलो. कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस तो आपको डायरेक्टली समझ में आ जाएगा, बट इफ दे आर सेइंग ओनली फेस्टिंजर, देन यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो यू नीड टू रिमेंबर दैट फेस्टिंजर वाज द वन हु टॉक्ड अबाउट कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस. Happens to all of us. Now first of all, you need to understand attitude is something which is very personal. It can be good or bad depending on our experiences, our learning. Nobody can judge us. It can be कि हमारा एक चीज़ को लेके एटीट्यूड बहुत अच्छा है, एक चीज़ को लेके बहुत गलत है. कभी कभी we also don't have any, let's just say, insight to why we have such an attitude, why we are thinking in that XYZ manner, right? So please don't think that you have to judge somebody. Yes, of course, हो सकता है कि कुछ किसी का बहुत ही गलत है, yes, and then you might want to help that person understand better. बट ऐसा नहीं है कि आपके कभी गलत नहीं होंगे. सो इट्स अ वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स थिंग, आई होप यू रियलाइज. एंड इट कैन बी दैट यू आर हैविंग सर्टन एटीट्यूड्स विच अदर पर्सन डज नॉट फील ओके विद, एंड दैट्स completely okay. So we can all happily agree to disagree, right? So this is what is happening. Now coming to cognitive dissonance, what is this? This is an incompatibility between two or more attitudes, or between two or more behaviors, ठीक है, regarding the attitude. So let's just say, I'll give you one very very simple example, probably you will be able to understand. There are two things, two thought process, and they're not consistent with each other, they're not congruent with each other. What is that? Let's just say I start smoking, ठीक है. Now the problem is my behavior or my thought process is I really like it, I am very enjoying it so much because my body is enjoying that. ठीक है, तो एक तो प्लेजर पॉइंट आ गया आपका. सो वन, यू हैव दिस एटीट्यूड कि अरे बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है मुझे करके, आई फील सो नाइस, एंड ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला. सो एक तो ये एटीट्यूड है, ये XYZ बिहेवियर है आपका. अनदर, बट let's just say the equally opposite thought process would be, or incompatible thought process would be, which will make you uncomfortable कि इसके वजह से मेरी health deteriorate हो रही है, my parents would judge me, or my parents would be very upset about it, or it can be something like it is causing me health issues, I might be having cancer because of it, right? So two thoughts, or two incompatible behavior, two incompatible thoughts or attitude cannot coexist. because it will create a lot of tension in us. It is creating a lot of, let's just say, dissonance. क्या होती है यही, ये जो tension create हो रही है इसके वजह से कि वो करना है कि ये करना है, it is a very unsettling feeling at times, right? So what do you do then? So you have to discard one of the attitude or one of the behavior. So either I completely quitting and then I feel happy, or I completely forget about the thought कि चलो ठीक है मरेंगे तो देखेंगे, and this is not the only thing which can kill me, so it's completely fine, the rest of the world is doing it. ठीक है, so I can follow any of the one, but basically you have to stick to one. So we cannot really live with two or more incompatible thought process or attitudes, right? So whenever you want to change your thought process, or whenever you want to change your attitude, whether it's for say favorable one or unfavorable one, this is how you have to do. So one of the thought process has to be, let's just say, opposite of it, right? And it does happen with a lot of us at times ki kabhi kabhi, let's just say we have to choose between something. We have to choose between, let's just say, following what our parents are saying and versus following what I have to do. So it can be anything, and it's a very completely natural and common phenomena that can happen to anybody. Okay, now what are the functions of the attitude? There are multiple functions which are related to the attitude. How do we use it?